Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome everybody to Swahili Nation One Africa. It's such a privilege to come here today and to have this quick live stream. I'm not gonna be here for a while, as you guys know. It has been a long time. We haven't done this in ages, right? But today I had to come because of the emergence and what is happening in Nigeria. And I think we'll have this conversation not only now, but we're gonna continue to cover it. If you guys are following the news, I think you see what is happening in Nigeria right now. And some of us, maybe we just get to see it right now, but it has been going on for a very long time. All right. I have my brothers here, two brothers from Nigeria. One is actually Nigeria, another one he's away from Nigeria. We are going to discuss and to talk a little bit to get a light of what is happening in Nigeria. So if you don't know anything, this is gonna be a session for you to know and also to to raise up our voices because something is happening but media is not covering. Nobody is barely talking about it except people like us, like YouTubers and content creators, and just few people. But today we are going to talk about this, and I want you guys to raise your voice. I have my brothers from Nigeria. I'm gonna put them in just a minute. Let me put in my brother GP. This is my best friend GP. How are you, GP?
I can't hear you.
You cannot hear me. You can't hear me. Let me put on
Yeah,
my. You can hear me, right?
I can't hear you again. I heard you now, but I can't hear you. Like I've not been hearing you all this while.
Oh, really? Is that does everybody hear me? Okay, let me put in my another brother John in the house. John, can you hear me?
Very well, clearly, very clearly, Mika.
I
Very
hear
clearly.
you.
GP, where are you at, man? You're surprising me. Where are you
I
at?
don't know now. I hear John.
But why are you replying to me? This guy is replying to me.
Uh,
So you're not
you're,
hearing me?
I can hear you, Mika Shevala. I can hear you clearly. I can hear GP. You're all very audible.
Yeah. But I think GP maybe you have some. Are you in the basement or some?
Oh,
GP, can you hear me now?
I hear you now. I hear you now.
All right, that's good. That's good. Wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am so privileged to have two of my brothers, my longtime best friend GP in the house, and it has to be like 4 years or something,
yeah,
3 years.
yeah. We met in 2021, not 22, right? Two, three, about
Wow,
3 years now. Yeah,
wow, 3 years. That has been a while, man. It's good
yes,
to have you guys.
it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I just have to lay foundation that guys in this session. My name is Chenedu. I'm not Mika. I need to change here the name. My name is
Oh,
Chenedu.
okay. Chinedu. Awesome.
Yo, that's actually the right
How
name.
how did you get that name? Did you marry a Nigerian or do you have a Nigerian girlfriend now?
Actually, when I was in Nigeria, I went there
Okay,
for I went there for GP's wedding,
okay,
and I asked him to give me a Nigerian name. So he told me that okay,
okay.
from today onward, he ordained me with Chinedu. Yeah. So
Oh,
since then, man, until right
Chinedu.
now, man, I'm Chinedu. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. The best name ever. It's a nice name.
Actually, right now it's actually a fitting name because I'm Igbo. John is Igbo, and now you are Igbo too. So Chinedu.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
I just I knew you have to talk about that, man. Anyways, I'm just Nigerian. So let's. Well, okay. What about you guys also giving us your real Nigerian names? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm Chinedu. I don't want to hear God's power. I don't want to hear John, but I believe you guys you have your Nigerian name. So what
Yes.
about you, GP?
Wow. My name is Obunike Chuku.
Yeah. Obunike
Chuku.
Obunike Chu.
Oh,
That's a good
Ubudike.
one. That's a good one. That's a good one. I
Yeah,
love that, man. I have my
of
brother
course.
Ike Jugu right here, and John
I am Udemezwe. Udemezwe.
Udemi's way.
Udemezwe.
Yes, Udemezwe. Yeah. Just like
Udemi's
saying Udemy, just say instead of Udemy, say Udemezwe. Yeah.
uh Damn, man, that's all right. All right, let's. That's okay, man. It's pleasure to have you guys. It has been a while we haven't done a live stream, but it's privilege to come and to do a live stream about Nigeria, guys. I've seen on social media. I can't say on news because I don't see anything in news. I've seen on social media, and I have to admit that this is not the first time for me to see what is happening. My brother GP has been sharing for a while now through his social medias as well, and I've been coming across a lot of videos that's showing the massacre of Christians, Nigeria, and the northern part of Nigeria, right? And I've been seeing all these video. I've been seeing people, a few people talking about it. The media, of course, is quiet, and apparently this thing has been happening for a lot of years. But I want to get the clarity from you guys, Nigerians, to really hear in detail for the sake of those who do not understand. Maybe they're not in the continent, they're away from the continent, and they don't understand what is happening, what has been happening in Nigeria. If you guys, you can lay down the foundation, a little bit of what really is going on. And I'll start with my brother, yeah, Ikechuku.
You say Ikechukwu, please don't make me laugh. I'm not supposed to be laughing right now. First of all, thank you for this opportunity and privilege to speak on this. It's a topic that is very dear to us, Nigerians, because we're losing a lot of Christian brothers back home, and also I'm gonna just to quickly speak, because I actually have rehearsal right now. They are waiting for me, so I'm gonna quickly speak. Yeah. So the fact is there's a genocide happening. Our government have come to deny it, but the thing is the people suffering it more are Christians living in the north, which is very bad. And then I actually, me and my family, I don't know, maybe you guys might know the story. I've said this before. We actually suffered this. We escaped them trying to kill us. And then because we escaped, they burnt down our house. They burned down everything to the ground. They burned down our churches, our church. That time we were living in Bauchi State. So I have actually been through that. I've actually been through a situation where I was almost killed, but by God's grace, I was saved. So seeing all this that is happening, this has actually been happening years back. The story I just said right now happened in 2009. And it has been happening since then. It's just that the northern Christians, they don't have a voice, or rather they have a voice, but their voices are not loud enough. Their voices are not loud enough. Their voices have been overshadowed. So right now that they are trying to speak up, the government is trying to shut their voices by denying it. And the crazy thing is, the more they deny it, the more people are getting killed. Even this week, you see them, they are still burying people. So it's very sad. And the main goal, or the main goal of this terrorist group, is to completely wipe out Christians or chase them out of the land, because they see it as they are dominating. They are dominating, and they keep doing this evil. A lot of Christians keep losing their life, and we are seeing this, and it's very sad to us. And it's also sad that we have I'm sorry, but whenever I speak about our government, it makes me very, very emotional. I'm also sad that we have a very useless government. They don't literally before now, cows, the life of cows actually are more valuable than the life of humans, because that's how it started. It started out as they call them the Fulanis. They went into some areas in the name of, I'm looking for grasses for my cow to eat. And then before you know it, the grasses will start going into the farms of some farmers. And then if the farmer come out to defend them, they kill the farmers. That's how it started. The killing also spread. It's not also only happening in the north, by the way. This is also happening in the east, happening in the west. And people are complaining, the government, save us, but the government are not doing anything. Rather, they will say, it's a misunderstanding, and whatever they will say. So it's very sad that this is happening, and truly we are really calling out the international voices, because we have to get louder. Just like I said, not that they don't have a voice, the Northern Christians have a voice, but their voices are not loud enough. They're not being heard. So I'm actually very grateful that right now the international sectors are actually getting to know about this. And the thing is, we just need to keep going and need to keep pushing, because even if it has gotten to them, our government, they're trying to deny it, and it's very sad. they're denying it for many purposes, which I don't understand. But it's happening. That's the reality. So let's also pray. I'm a Christian. I will always resort to prayer. Let's also pray for God to truly protect them and to give them a voice louder than never before, so that this evil will be sorted out and this evil will be also be eradicated. So thank you. Let, let me not say everything, because I know my brother John. Where are you? Where do you live at?
Yeah, currently Lagos, Lagos, Nigeria.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I was in Lagos a few years ago. Actually,
Awesome.
when we spoke, I was in Lagos. I remember when we
Yes.
spoke, yeah, I was in Lagos. Yeah, yeah, cool, cool.
All right. That's good. Where are you now? Where are you now?
I'm in South Korea. I'm back to
Oh,
my place.
okay. All right. All right. That's good. That's good. No
This
problem.
guy,
Yeah.
this guy, he ran away from Africa.
No,
He,
no.
it's like,
I followed my wife, man.
it's like I gotta fight for Africa away from Africa. Man, I support you, by the way. I'm with you in that. Because you need to be alive to fight for Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
My brother John, what about you, man? I think what I want to know from you, I want to know the context, the historical context of what is happening, and if you know, like, when did this happen, and and why it's happening.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Chinedu, so good to be here. And so let's, everything has its own genesis. Like, when you gave me a call this morning, you asked me, first thing I told you was that it was the historical context of what's going on here. I told you that Nigeria has struggled, Nigeria has, since independence, it has struggled with nationhood. That's a problem. You can see that, initially, I told you that there are so many things that makes you Nigerian: your ethnicity, your religion. That's like two deciding factors. And if you look at the way leaders are being chosen in Nigeria, is based on these two factors: ethnicity and your religion. Before the Civil War, it was largely ethnicity that actually drove the first war in the country. That led to the Biafran Civil War, and millions of people were killed. People were being identified by that, even till last year. But over the years, people have been able to talk about it, and it's like I said, people are, we're beginning to get to know each other better, not because of, it's just like it all boils down to bad leadership. But what we're seeing now is that the issue of ethnicity has metamorphosed into religion. That's what we're seeing now. And the struggle for domination. So the people now see that, okay, this issue of religion, so ethnicity, the ethnic card is no longer working anymore. Let's go with the religious card. So that's what we're seeing so far. And this issue began in the early 2000s with the Boko Haram. They decided that Nigeria should not be a secular state, that secularism is drawing Nigeria back. That, it was more like an Islamic thing, that, okay, let's Islamize the whole country. Muslims believe that, not all Muslims, they are good Muslims. I'm not going to be that bigoted to insult people. I know they are very good people. They are open-minded. If you look at the UAE, Saudi Arabia, there are success stories of Islam. So it just depends on who is practicing it. That's a problem. So the issue is that, okay, they say, okay, Nigeria cannot be a secular country because, like I said, they're not able to meet up with the basics. The basics are lacking in Nigeria. If you come, the government is just, and our problems are not that big because we have the resources, we have the money, like any other African country, but it's just being misused. That's the problem. And what are the basics? The people are not asking you to do so much for them. There are three things that makes every country work. Number one, your healthcare. Number two, your education. Number three, governance. When people begin to lose trust in public institutions, it becomes a problem. And that's why you say, okay, let's get this country an Islamic, because when the British came to Nigeria, the British governed it as a secular state. There was no religion, and this everybody could come out. It was strongly the ethnic card was being used back then. So, and that was what formed Boko Haram, just a simple, angry, and agitated group. And guess what? Because of poor governance, they couldn't manage it. They went and killed their leader. That was how the leader of Boko Haram was killed. And that, since then they have become a radical group. They became radicalized. They draw inspiration from ISIS and the likes of them. Then, just because of the government lackadaisical attitude, the West was able to now capitalize on it. The issue of Obama and the likes of them. So, like I said, it's highly multifaceted. But if you are going to the root, it has to do much with governance. Governance is actually a problem. I'm sure that you were here in Nigeria, I think last year. You've noticed one thing, that Nigeria is too centralized. If you notice, you come down from the airport, on the road, there's only one police system. The federal police, I think in total we have about 150,000 federal police system, federal police in a role in the federal police force, for a huge population of over 240 million, going to 300 million people. So you have number one, which means we are under police in the world. We're under police. Our army, if you combine the armed forces, the navy, they're not up to 350,000. So combined security forces up to 500,000. And we need at least 750,000 to 1 million in security men to actually man these ungoverned territories. Now, are Muslims killing Christians? Yeah, of course it is. It's a problem in the country, and I blame the government for that. There are actually talks about restructuring, because we are highly pluralized. The one thing you notice in Nigeria, when you get there, different languages, different ethnic group, different belief systems, it's there. And it's not a challenge. It's not a challenge. It should not be a challenge, because there's strength in diversity. It's good. But the government is not able to manage it. It's a problem. Governance is a problem in that country. They know the right thing to do, but they don't want to do it. Nigeria should be more decentralized than what it is to. Even the issue of banditry. You cannot know the land than the natives. You cannot know the land than those natives. I cannot know where they come from in Tanzania, probably your village. For those who live there, probably you have moved to the city, but you cannot know your village than those living in your village. That's also the problem. Now, what are we saying? Localize security. Let the natives, let the township guard themselves. They know how to handle this thing better. But in Nigeria, we run a very centralized police system, whereby you have a policeman that has lived in life in Lagos can just wake up one morning and be transferred to a different and entirely new terrain. And that becomes a problem. Number one, you might not be able to speak the language. What happens? You have criminals begin to speak, begin to move all over the place. So the problem is actually governance, intelligence gathering, because these people, I heard that when they want to conduct attacks, they inform the natives, we're coming there to kill you. Nobody to tell, nobody to inform. So they will just come in, breathe in the night, kill people, drive their bikes, and go back. So much ungoverned territories. And like I said, this thing is not a problem. This thing should not be a problem, because we have the resources, we have the money. If the Europeans will not fund you, turn to the Chinese. We need the basic infrastructure in place. We need townships. I think if you look at our landmass, about 1 million square kilometer, 1 million square kilometers our landmass. Africa is about 30 million square kilometers. So we're like, Nigeria is 130 of Africa. If you go to our borders, they are porous. Nigerian border, very open. You can just walk in and stroll in and come in. Nobody challenges you. So these are basic problems. So why I go back to the issue of governance, I don't want to be too emotional about it. I don't want to, because the foreign interests are actually in this. The United States, they're actually one of the people who they are responsible for bringing this current administration, Obama, in which they actually admitted that Obama allowed Boko Haram to actually spread in the country, refusing to sell arms to Nigeria. Nigeria had to go to that was 2015 because it has been happening. It was bomb blast. Nigeria had to go to South Africa to go and bring in Boer, the Boer of South Africa. Those were the Boers and now push them back. The Boers, South Africa has this private army in South Africa. They are mostly of Boer heritage. They came in, they were able to push Boko Haram back till you know the massive interference in Nigeria. And as soon as the new government was the Buhari, because Buhari was actually most northern bigoted leaders. Not all of them. There are good people among them, but they are criminals among them. They use that as a form of power grab. And since then, they allowed them to spread. And you can see that what. So most of those people kicking the Christian are actually Boko Haram members, the headsmen of Boko Haram members. So, like I said, I'm a Christian. I do not deny it. It's happening. But if the government was much more responsible than what they are today, if you don't have very if you don't have people that are not serious in government, will not have this kind of level of impunity. Is whatever see, look, if we have a new but by the grace of God, I'm happy that it's even happening. So this administration can actually leave this party. They are not serious. They are they are very nonchalant people. They are not serious. They just want to take their own and go. That's their own. They don't care, but they want it to be as silent as possible. Let's grab our own share. We hope that a new administration comes into office in 2027, and in the same vein, so that you see that in 6 months, all these things can stop. It's going to stop. It's not really a big issue. So, like I said, governance is a problem here. We need to work on it. Even in Lagos, as we speak now, in Lagos, what they call metropolitan city, they are ungoverned territories. I think if you look at, if you go, I'm so happy you came to Abuja. When you land the main city, you see how beautiful it is, where the rich men are, where the big people, you see all those fancy houses, you see those fancy cars. All of them, if they have heart attack, they cannot call one ambulance because ambulance does not work. Number two, if there's fire, probably there's a fire outbreak. Nigeria, they begin to use water and buckets. There's no fire service. It doesn't work. If you now move down to the townships where you have the rural areas, they are abandoned. So why would the terrorists come in and stay there? You have so many. Do you know that in my country there are places where they call ungoverned territories? The local government, the Boko Haram has come there. They have put their flag there and they are collecting taxes. In a country, there are a lot of them like that ungoverned territory because do not have a very huge landmass. So they have come. So it just shows you how neglected the government the government have been towards governance in the country. So like I said, is there a Christian genocide? Yes, but what is festering it? Negligence of governance. I don't want to actually become too emotional about it because I've become mature, I've grown up and the likes of
Yeah.
them. So that would be it
Yeah.
for me. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just wondering. I think you've shared a lot of information, which will help those who do not understand to at least get the context. But why do you think government is not stopping what is happening? Because I believe when I look at and it's okay. We're talking about Nigeria today. I think a lot of things can be stopped in Africa. A lot of events can be stopped, but I think most of the time our governments they just decide not to do it, right? So why do you think in Nigeria like the government is not really stepping out? Because GP he just shared with us here, they've been denying that nothing like this is happening, but we are seeing people are losing their lives and we're seeing it's happening. And so the denial is the first part. You cannot really solve the problem that you're denying that is there, right?
Of
So
course.
just the fact that the government is denying it means it's non-existing, it's not a problem for them, right? So
Yes.
why do you think is that?
All right. So thank you very much. Like I said in Nigeria, I told you previously, though when I spoke, governance problem. The average politician want to win election. They just want to win. They just want to win election. So, like I said, um, coming out to approve it, or owning up to it, means that you are going to start arresting elites, because most of those things are funded by elites, most of which are of Islam heritage. So I'm not saying that Islam is a bad religion, but there's some bad eggs that also, because about 4 years ago, Saudi Arabia released a list of people sponsoring Boko Haram and ethnic cleansing of other religion in Nigeria. It was released. They know them. But the issue is that they don't want to offend them, so that they are able to win the next election. So, like I said, it's about politics. You see, you see, the kind of elite in Nigeria is very, in fact, even the West, they are so shocked that this kind of people here, the kind of people in this country, they are very strong. Even Mandela said, he said, the only thing he doesn't like about Nigeria are the Nigerian leaders. They just don't like their people. The elite we have, the kind of political group we have in this country, they are very, very, they are comedians. Let me call them comedians. You see, you run for office not on the goodwill of the people. You just want to have your own cake. You don't want to offend people, because you know doing that you have to kill. You have, because if seriously, if you want to flush out, if you want to flush out that thing, you have to close your eyes and arrest so many big wigs will fall, and most of which are well, I even heard that the kings in the north, because in the north they use sultan. Sultan is like more like an Islamic heritage, because Islam is very, very strong in north. So most of the leaders there actually, sultan. They actually have allegiance. The kind of the clerics, the Islamic clerics, the kind of most are in a way supportive of that act. They believe that they should take over Nigeria, take over the oil. They believe that when Islam takes over Nigeria, that will suddenly become like a Saudi Arabia and UAE. So until we kill the infidels. So if you look at most people, most big wigs in the north, that is the rich, and they are actually complacent to this. So stopping Boko Haram means you're going to go for them, you're going to arrest them, you're going to put them in jail, and guess what? Most of them campaign for you, so you can't touch them. It's a problem. So that was why in 2015, you see, that's why hmm, I don't want to say too much. The guy that would have done, that would have wiped them, because those people are just, if you look at that, you know that they are small children. They are being radicalized in a mosque, in a small mosque there. That way they are being radicalized. So, like I said, why isn't there a political will? Number one, because most of those people who brought them into power are from are Muslims. So the president will not want to offend Muslims. So that's because the whole thing can flip up. Like I said, the current president did not come on the goodwill of Nigerians. It was actually a rigged, a bought election. So he wants to
John.
do it. He wants to, yeah.
Yeah, but that is where I have also I'm curious about it, because I think, well, for those who are joining, we are not necessarily talking about Christian versus Islam,
Muslim.
but yeah, we are talking, or Muslim, yeah, but we are talking about the act of these Nigerians who happen to be Muslim, who are killing Christians in Nigeria, right? So from what you say today, if that is the fear, if that is the fear of the government and leadership, that we don't want to stop these guys because I might not get, I might offend them, it kind of like generalize the entire picture, that the entire Muslim people, they actually want to kill Christians in Nigeria, right? And and with that, I think we're not really dealing with the issue of what is happening in the northern side of Nigeria. We cannot really we cannot how can I say, we cannot deny that this is happening. Christians are being killed in northern Nigeria, and it's happening, right? So if the government is useless, according to what GP mentioned here before, and they cannot really do anything, because government is there to work for the people, is there to improve the lives of the people. And if the lives are not improved, they're not feeling safe, running away from the country because it's not a safe place to be, then the government is useless. Then we come to the next question. Then, what should people, what should Nigerians do in this circumstance? What should you guys Nigerians do, based on what is happening right now? Because if the government is not seeing it, it's not stopping, then the people, I believe people should do something about it to stop what is happening. Then what do you think can be done?
Yeah, thank you so much. Like I said, that's a very good way, and that's a good um that's a good destination to this where I like where we're actually going now. So to stop this, I think it's a multifaceted approach. First of all, the communities where this is happening should they should defend themselves. If the government will not do it, defend yourselves. But you see, it has become very, this, like I said, the government is so, it just shows you how deeply this thing is. Because the army, because in those places where there's Christian genocide, the armed forces are there, the army are there guarding those communities. Now, in the core north, that is where Muslims, both Muslims and Christians are being killed, the armed forces are there. So in those places, the armed forces are killing the terrorists, the Boko Haram. But when you come to the Christian sides where they are asked to guard, they suddenly fold their arms. Sorry, they come and protect them. That don't worry, sorry, and the likes of it. Actually, brother, that's how funny this is. So the armed forces are just doing two duties. In the north, they claim to kill in which I agree, their claims like those that are radicalized Boko Haram and the ISWAP, they are being killed there. But in the south, in the middle belt, because it's where it happens in the middle belt is like the middle belt. Abuja, for example, where you went to is the middle belt. That's the middle of the country. That's where you have different kind of minority group. It's not held by one minority. Like for the east, it's Igbo people. In the west, Yoruba. In the north, Hausa, Fulani. But those places, they are very diverse. They're diverse people. So, they are doing two things. In the middle belt, the army is aiding them. In the north, they are killing them. So, on the people's side, the community immediately should defend themselves. That's the first thing. That's the first thing they should do, because most times there's no peace without war. There's no peace without war. They actually brought that attitude to the southeast, but they were they were a lot of clapback from the community. The community have to do something about it. The leaders of those communities have to do something immediately about it. That we on the southern part, we at least the rest of the country, we begin to lend our voice, because this same administration, they did the same thing to the previous government with the issue of bring back our girl. Those girls that were kidnapped. They went to the White House. Obama helped them. Even
Hey,
Obama's wife. Okay.
by the way, did were those kids found?
Yes, all were released except the Christian ones.
Oh,
All were released. To the 200 girls, I mean, 200 girls were released except the ones who refused to uh renounce Christianity.
the
So
Christianity. Yeah.
Christian,
So
yeah.
so they were
So
killed basically.
yeah, no, they were not killed. They were just using them. They were making them have children for Boko Haram. They were raping them, having children. In fact, those girls, by the time they were back, they already I came back with children, 3 children, 4 children, five. But they always used them to breed themselves. They actually used as a
That's that's
so they
that's
had
that's crazy, man.
a brother.
Uh,
So
man,
it's
that's
so sad.
this man, this issue is way more deeper than it looks outside. And I think,
Hmm.
the reason why I asked what will Nigerian do, or what should the people do, because I think now, I mean, anybody who um you know who believes in God, anybody who believes in sovereignty of the country, I think, it's about time for the people themselves to condemn what is happening, and this, because if Christians take initiative to defend themselves, because I'll tell you the truth, we see these events all the time happening in the continent or around the world. Like, it's kind of like the same thing is happening in China right now. Christians are being persecuted there, all over the place. Like, everywhere you find, something is happening. So if we choose that route, and we know to be honest, we know the history. We know the history of how the world wars came about. If you look at the history of this world, you find out that, Christian, the one who really started a lot of wars, back in the past. But I think, like, there've been kind of like a shift right now, and if the group of Christians choose to fight back and to defend themselves, that means the death we're seeing right now, it's gonna be multiplied. Imagine if right now, if Christians are being targeted and killed because of their Christianity, and if Christians, decide to target, Muslim base because of their faith, then what we're gonna see multiplication of death that is happening. So I think it's healthy to say it is duty to every Nigerian, to every African, every individual to actually condemn what is happening, because it is not right, it is not good. And for government, I you know we always talk about these things, and they don't do nothing. Not only Nigeria, man. In my country, in other countries, they don't really listen, they don't do nothing, and unless people riot, like what happened in Madagascar or what happened in
Of course.
Nepal, exactly, oppose, then that's when they pay attention. And then, they're not gonna have a space anymore, because people are getting tired of these things, these issues that are happening in Africa. And I see the rising of Gen Z generation, like really rising up to change what is happening in our countries. So I think it's the duty to all Nigerians, regardless of their tribes, regardless of their religion, to really condemn what is happening. If there will be peaceful protests to protest on what is happening, these killings, they should be there to speak out about this, because otherwise, hundreds and hundreds of thousand people are continue to die, and it hasn't started today. Started many years ago, but right now it's coming to light, and people are understanding, seeing what is happening.
Yeah, of course, you're right. You're right with the issue of protests. Like I said, a lot of in the past, protests have been done. A lot of protests have been, but the government finds a way to, to silence the big wigs. Those are big on it. The We've seen pastors have protested. People speak on this, so but as like I said, we are humans, and most of us have a price we can be bought over. So we've seen people, not speak about it. Who once spoke about it and become quiet, just because of government patronage. They agree that Christians are powerful in the country. They agree, so they do that. So they use the issue of bribery and, let's just give them money. Let's help them. It's quite deep. I don't want to actually go because I want to just I want to just, just assume that something's going to be done. Like I said, it's just it. What I will be grateful is that this administration is removed in 2027, because the elections. I think we spoke in 2023, right? We spoke during the elections. He wasn't supposed to win because the religious tickets, Muslim Christian, and a Muslim vice president, those are signs that we saw that this guy, although the president has a Christian wife, but he drew most support from the Islamic base of the country. That's where he played the religious card to win,
Yeah.
because ethnically himself there wasn't much credibility. He wasn't supposed to. A person, the man who should be our president now is Peter Obi. That's the guy supposed to be our president now. If he was president, a lot of things, these things would have stopped a long time ago, because he has the credibility, he has
Mhm.
everything. There are people who are more, and he's a Christian also, and he must open his eyes and just watch that. thing, and he has the fact records. Things he thinks that he has actually he has actually stopped something like this when he was going. In fact, when he was governor, his state, they were actually beheading people they will behead you and hang your
Mm.
head on a stick. When he was governor, is when he was about to be sweat in, they burnt the government house. That was how crazy what he did. But in 6 months, that was from 2007 to 2008 when he was sworn in. Even the police said the stability in that place, they've not seen it before in their life. So they are capable hands. They are capable hands. Why I'm just quiet about this is that we just hope that this administration is actually removed from office in 2027. If else, hmm, another thing I'm saying is that is a karma, because they used the same rhetoric in 2015 to take off the second president. I'm happy that this is being done to him too. Because a lot of things have been going on right now. Actually, he's afraid that he might not win second term. He's trying to do some gymnastics on the elections.
Yeah,
The only thing I can
yeah,
stop this that the only thing I can stop this is if he doesn't come back. Well, if he does come back in 2027,
yeah,
this country, there might just be a
yeah.
revolution. That's just it.
The John, the fact that, and this is how far we are as Africa, because the fact that we even wish to have, let's say, a president who relate to us, who actually understand
Mm,
us, to fight for us. It
of
is,
course.
we are very far, we are
So,
very far, because it is not supposed to be like that. It is not supposed to be like, okay, I'm a Muslim president, then I should favor Muslim. I'm a Christian president, then I should favor Christian, because when you become a president, you become a leader of all, right? Just the fact
yes,
that you have that mindset, it shows how far we are, that we are desiring to have, it happens everywhere in Africa. We're desiring to have at least someone who understands me, in order for me to
all
have a freedom to express my worship. You know what I'm saying? It is, we are very far away, and it's sad. You're talking about election, you're hoping on 27, but from right now to 2027, it's 2 years, right? And
is
people are
still long,
still
of course.
dying, being killed every single day. And we know in Africa, some people, they say even the, last election in Nigeria, it was rigged. Actually, it was not supposed to become a President Tinubu, but he became a president anyway. So even in 2027, we know he's in the system already. We know that most likely he's gonna become a president again. So if, as long as he stay a president, that means we're gonna continue to seek healing and no solution. So what
Mm,
can be, what I'm asking this question because I'm really thinking about this. You're right, I'm really think the only solution that I see for myself is if the people of Nigeria really stand up and really, step out. You know what I'm saying? Step out of their houses, step out, with one accord, with unity, to say that, okay, we don't want this to happen, to match out, if it is from where, because if two or three people, happen to get out, of course they'll be killed. But if the entire, the hundreds million people step out and be like, no, 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 this is not acceptable in our country. We cannot allow this bloodshed on our country. Not now, not ever. I'm really sure, Pierre Lumumba once said that the day Nigeria wakes up, Africa will never be the same again.
of course.
And if Nigeria is the giant of Africa, it means whatever that happened in Nigeria, it actually impact the entire continent of Africa,
Of
right?
course,
This
that's
is
it.
happening. And one of the things that I see, Nigeria, when you find Nigerians outside of Nigeria, these guys are one. These guys, they don't care even about their tribes. They don't care about their religion. These guys are helping one another. These guys are supporting one another. But why the same thing is not happening in the country? Okay, we can talk about leadership, but leadership is useless. So put it aside. Why the people of Nigeria, they're not showing the spirit of unity right now in the country, and to make sure this thing is stopping? That's first. Second, what does the constitution say about this? Because you mentioned about the issue of tribalism, issue of religion in Nigeria, but what does the constitution say about these things? Is it like, does it recognize these regions in Nigeria based on their ethnicity? or it recognize Nigerian as Nigerians, like the whole people, or does it recognize them as, Igbo, as, what are other tribes, two famous tribe, I think I forget them, I forgot them a little bit, but yeah, that I think that would be my final question for today.
Okay, all right, very good. I'm so glad that you're passionate because, like I said, I get what you're saying, but as it is now, Nigeria defies, understanding. It defies the average understanding of how a country should work. Which is why I have, why I'm just hoping for him to leave because this administration brought in tribalism from 2015 to 2023. They've ruled with because they are incompetent. So what did they do? They play the ethnic card. Also, ethnic card, you know what? They play the religious card. Now you're talking about protest. Just last week, we had a protest in Nigeria. We had a protest in Nigeria. What
How big
happened?
was that?
It wasn't that, but people came out, in
Mm,
Abuja and some places. Last year, August, there was a protest.
yeah, I
Children were
remember.
shot. Kids,
Mm,
children were shot.
mm,
The police gunned down children.
mm,
That's
mm.
so. See, look, it's just like how. That's why I just want him gone. We just want this administration because they're not capable. So, like I said, people have been uniting. People have been coming out. People have been speaking together. People have been, I've been making, but this once the system is or like I said in computing, when once the memory or once the head of a country is bad, there's nothing the body can do, nothing we can do. So like I said, there will still be more protests. Like I said, people will still come out in mass. uh, even very, very soon, we'll start seeing lots, moving down to next year. A lot and lot more protests, more Christian activists are speaking up. I'm so happy that the US is talking about it, even if I know they don't have good intentions about it. It's not say they love Christians or so, but I'm so happy that their voice is loud, and it's going to quicken a lot of people that are sleeping, to actually wake up to this. People actually spoke, but they were silenced. There are few people so over the years we've been talking, they've been even those the big wigs, the pastors, they've talked, but one more time the government calls them and beg them, please do something about. Like I said, they are human beings and they'll have to just relax. And most times when it happens, the government come out and say the government will in fact, as you see, they bought the whole media. The media doesn't show it anymore because most media firms are run by people in politics. Even the ones that are
Mm,
run by businessmen also are also silenced. At a point in time, there was a time where they were taking out licenses from media houses. There was time that they tried to ban Twitter in Nigeria. It was banned in Nigeria because
mm,
it was being used for information. At the same time, also, even it's now what we see is that they are recruiting influencers to promote the government in good light. So, like I said, the government is also, like I said, is the problem from the head. So, which is why I pray so much that in all of this, it's not because it's not as if he's a Christian. It's just that is the kind of that's the kind of politics he came in. Tribalism, Tinubu, tribalism. In the protest last week, do you know that some people were caught? They ask you, you are Igbo. Why are you protesting in Lagos? Lagos for Yoruba people. Can you see? Can you see how they use this psychotic delusion against people? So now, your second question about Nigerians working together. Of course, we love each other. Um, my mom married somebody from a different ethnic group. I'm from a different, I'm Igbo, my mom is Yoruba. That was my family. So there's deeply rooted love, there's understanding. That is why, but the environment to foster this peace and unity has not just been created in Nigeria. When they get abroad to the USA to other countries, they work together because the environment is not against them. The government is not working against them. So they have everything to thrive. So they have no option but what to get what to work together. Um, but in all, I'm not betting against Nigeria. It's a great nation. We just finished the refinery train in 5 years. For the first time, we started refining our own crude oil for the first time. So we are actually the future is bright. Future is bright for everybody, and I believe everything is going to be okay. As for the Christian killing, I'm happy that this has been brought to light. We're going to see a downward trend in the killings, and people are going to start protesting. Are very people are going to come out in mass. If in fact when they posted, some baby pastors did not post about it, and they used to post about it before in 2015. They just stopped. So like I said, we are all human beings, and most people have a price, and most times they've been bought. So that's what we're seeing so far. So
Yeah, it is very it's very sad, every time when you talk about Africa and things happening in this continent. I mentioned before, it shows how far we are, and if this is what we are fighting today, if what we are fighting today it's because of our religion and tribes. You go to Ethiopia, you see ethnic, issues. You come to Nigeria, you see ethnic issues, right? You go to Congo, you go to Sudan, you go everywhere. If these are the issues that we are dealing with every single day, when are we going to think about developing our countries? When are we going to think about building infrastructure? Okay, well, when are we going to think about having a better education for our kids, because we kill them anyways? When are we going to think about just freedom to express our the way we worship, the way we want to do it? We have witnessed in Congo the same thing happened a couple weeks ago. A lot of people, actually Christian, have been targeted in Congo. The churches have been burnt down, people have been killed. So this is happening, and um it's sad that this is where we are, as a continent, and it's sad that we have very useless governments who do nothing about it. At least condemn, at least go out and condemn that this is not acceptable and this has to stop, and this. But we don't want to acknowledge what is happening, and it's really sad, man. I really feel for Nigeria. In Tanzania, we have issues with politics right now. We actually, next week, we are going to the election, and it's not really election, because one of the main political
opponents,
opposition,
yes, I saw it.
opponents. Yes, he's been actually, he's in the court right now, and the party is not running, for the office anymore. So there's a lot of unrest everywhere. People are not happy about it, and campaign have been conducted as if everything is normal, but nothing is normal. And you're wondering, what kind of democracy is this? What kind of election is gonna be? We don't even know what is gonna happen, next week, because I have never seen this kind of tension in my country. I've never seen this kind of unrest. I've never seen this kind of, everybody's awake, social media, everybody. I've never seen anything like this. It's very crazy. It's unsafe. And that is what is happening. So people, a lot of people, a lot of my friends actually, running away from the country right now because they don't know what is gonna happen, in the next
Yes,
week. So
yes,
they're
yes,
running away, right? And this is what is
yes,
happening in the continent. The time that is supposed to be the most peaceful time, the time that is supposed to be the time that people are happy to go to choose the leaders they want to change the fate of their countries. But people are running away. They don't want to vote. They don't want to do nothing.
yeah,
It's
yeah. Let me just speak to that. I think this wave, I think, is because of you know it's because of the current changing world order. Because the changing world order, as you can see, the West, they realize that they are losing grip on Africa because of the Chinese and BRICS, and they know that if people are, how do I put it, if they leave things the way they are, that they're going to lose in the scheme of things. So what we're seeing so far is that they're beginning to come out. So they want to retain those who have their interests at heart. They want to keep as many pro-Western leaders in Africa as much as possible, even if it means violence. So that's what we are seeing so far. I look at the issue with your country, and well, by when she came in, she was actually a female. We're happy. Africa has a female president. Though she's not the first female president in Africa, but we consider it's not about having a female president or anybody. It's about mindset and those who string the whole thing from the top. So I think the West does not want to completely lose their grip on Africa. So they want to reinforce their dominance by enforcing leaders who will continue to foster Western interest in their
Yeah.
country. Don't be surprised the people backing her that most those people are the countries are extracting from Tanzania, probably France, US, or CIA that they want to be doing those things. So we
Yeah.
just hope that we're able to, and if we go of the coup in Burkina Faso, Mali, and
Oh,
Niger, a lot of
that is actually my next question. One of the brother here, Alexander or 25, he said something that I think it resonate with a lot of Africans. Say, I think Africa as a whole should return back to the military regime time. This democracy is a huge scam. And we have seen actually this happening in the continent. I mean, you've seen Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, but we have seen in Madagascar just recently, like military took over the government, right? Gen Z step out to demonstrate, and we've seen something happen in Nepal. This is outside of Africa, by the way, but it's the same thing. There's a movement of Gen Z happening in the continent, in the world right now. They want to see change. They know these leaders have been scammed for a long time. What do you think about this? Do you think Africa would be better off with military taking over governments?
yeah. For me, I'll say no. It's a big no. It's a huge
Mm-hmm.
no. What I
Mm-hmm.
see in Africa is that we have weak institutions. We have Africa has weak institutions and strong people. Strong. We we exonerate. If you look at the West, actually, they spent the last 500 years building powerful institutions. In Africa, institutions are built around the political class. They're not built around the common people. So when you have a military leader, like we're always looking for this savior. Oh, which is good. Thomas Sankara, oh,
Mm-hmm.
save us.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is that you are building your entire country's existence on that person. What happens when he dies? Is the fact that when those people leave office, the whole thing again falls and scatters. The whole process is destroyed. Same as Gaddafi in Libya. He was a good leader. Was good, but Libya evolved around the name Gaddafi, not
Mm-hmm.
institutions. So what happens when he was taken down? Everything fell off one by one. What I believe Africa should do, we as Africans, we don't understand the power of institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Institutions are very, very powerful. We need strong, powerful institutions. Once we have, for example, in the West now, if Trump today something, maybe something happens to him, America will not crumble because they have already systems in place to put checks and balances that will ensure that the society works. Even in Britain, so there's a lot. The Western world are exploiting. When they look at Africa, everything is weak institution. They just come in. The minister is already when you want to invest, the foreign minister is already asking for bribe because
Mm-hmm.
of on underpaid salaries. When you get
Yeah.
to the police,
Mm-hmm.
when the police is weak, they're asking for bribe and the like. So those are the things that they're actually exploiting. So I believe that if we build a country for the people, not around powerful individuals. I'm so happy about Burkina Faso with Traore, but it would be a disaster if institutions are not built in Burkina Faso to aid the people. I'm talking about healthcare, I'm talking about security, I'm talking about
Yeah.
governance, the way taxes are being collected, transparency in governance, how these are being spent. That is what you should look
Mm-hmm.
at. Governance structure. you know, the how
Then
they're enforcing the rule of law. And okay, yeah, go on.
Then, John, I think what you're saying, you can correct me if I'm wrong. What you're saying is that you don't have issue with army taking over the government, but the issue you have is if they take over the government and everything is resolved around them and that institution. So what if
Yeah.
army take over the government and try to build the institutions like what is happening in Burkina Faso today? Do you have an issue with that? I want to hear
Yeah.
if your problem is army taking over the government. Oh, it's something else.
Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. See,
Yeah.
look, one thing about power grab is that those people who
Hmm.
grab power, they don't build
Hmm.
institutions. That's a
But what if
problem.
that
They
happens? So,
no,
so you don't believe that in
it's
Burkina
very
Faso, you don't believe that in Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore right now is building up the institutions. You don't believe that.
no. One thing is very rare. Is not. It doesn't
Hmm.
happen. It's always very scarce. I like
Okay.
what he's doing. I like what he's
Hmm.
doing, but Burkina Faso can always, how do I put it? It can happen there because in the scheme of things, it's still a growing country. But
Yeah.
somewhere like Nigeria, South Africa, let's say Tanzania, Kenya, there's going to be
Hmm.
it's going to it's not really good for what to happen there because
Hmm.
the military, even if most times they're actually national, because in Nigeria we had military rule in Nigeria, we have military rule. They did well. If you look at Abuja, it was built by the military, by the armed forces. They built
Hmm.
Abuja. They built the
Hmm.
ASO. That airport that came in, they're the one who built it.
Yeah.
They are nationalistic. But when they go off,
Hmm.
everything collapses again. One thing the
Hmm.
army does not do is that they will never build it. They will never build it. They build everything. Most of the how do I put it? The ministers, the subordinates around them are built to be loyal to them.
Yeah.
Traore is building, how do I put it, his people to be loyal to him. The officers are loyal to him. If he's not there again, what happens? The next
Ah.
nitwit takes over everything and scatter it and
No,
destroy
I
everything.
think no, I think what is happening, I think what is happening in West Africa, I mean in Burkina Faso, is that people they are automatically attracted towards Traore because of
Yes,
what he stands for. So they become loyal to him. For instance, there's a
yes.
lot of things that the guy is doing, building these
Mm,
roads that have never been there before, all these, agriculture, dealing with,
yes,
tomatoes, industries, and all these foundations that I remember the ex-president of Tanzania also did really
yes,
industrialize the country in a way that even if he's gone today, but industries are still gonna be there.
yeah,
Roads are
yes,
still gonna be there.
yeah,
All these,
yes.
the cars manufacturing industry are still gonna be there. People are
Of
still gonna
course.
have food. Rebuilding the culture, right? How people they can love their country. So you see Burkina Faso people right now, loving their country more than before. Why?
More.
Because they have this
Yes.
symbol, the symbol individual who is really
Yes.
showing them,
Hope.
directing them where to go in the right direction. And this reminds me of our forefathers long time ago. Like when we were fighting for independence, our leaders, they were actually the most famous people in the countries. You can see Kwame Nkrumah, Nyerere, you can find all these different leaders. They were actually the icon of our nations, of our countries. And pretty much the country kind of like built around them. But because of what they stood for and fought for the independence, we see that is happening. So I kind of, feel like it's the same thing. And I've seen this because I've had multiple conversation with people in Burkina Faso, and I think it's the right way, or it's the right direction that they're heading right now, because you can see people are free, people are happy, people are, the patriotism spirit is coming back again. The people they are, a little bit settled. Of course, leader is being targeted all the time, but trying to take him down because of the everything that he's doing, but you can see the transition, you can see the change before he came and after he came, and right now you have 2 years. So the question comes like this. Alexander asked here again. I think this will be my last question for you today, my final question. um, does democracy work in Africa?
Yes, democracy works.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, democracy works also, um, but its own flaws. It has so much flaws. Um, of
So,
course,
do you think? Okay. Forget about Africa. Let's go to Nigeria. Does
Okay.
democracy work in Nigeria right now? You
He-
told me. You told me that Peter Obi, he was supposed to be a president. He actually, won the
of course,
election.
of course.
And people voted for him. But of course, he's not the president right now, as you know, obviously. So, does that democracy really work in Nigeria? Do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, if we, you see, like I said, not, like everything has its own pros and cons. There's always side
All
effect to
right.
everything.
Okay.
So because we're seeing the ugly side of some, even in the West also, they also having that problem also.
Okay.
Trump, it's quite that he would actually, what Donald Trump would actually love to have ultimate power like Vladimir Putin. It's what that he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have that. So, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, just because something has its good side and something has it, so everything has its good and
Bad sour. Okay.
bad side, does not mean that there's
Good
no
point.
advantage to it. Like I said,
Okay.
it's all, like I said, democracy. It's all the way it's being used now in Africa is reflecting our true nature
Mm,
of we Africans. What
mm,
is what is our true nature? Our true nature is not putting our people first.
mm. Okay.
I mean, you cannot be 100% honest. You can't be
Mm,
100%. Even in the West, there's corruption. But what happens? They put their people first. They always,
mm,
okay, don't worry. They know that it is much more easier to, let me tell you, I'm not saying that there will be a perfect system. But if we as Africans, if you look at the developed world, it's not as if they are not corrupt. They're really corrupt. They are more corrupt than Africans. But what they do is that they they put their people first. They put their people first, they build systems, and they go back later to go and steal. So if the average African can understand that okay, let me tell you, there's a lot for everybody to, if see, that's the problem with Nigeria. If there's this influencer called VDM, very very dark man. He went to London and he saw saw wind and solar. Wind turbine can help Nigeria with electricity, but look at Europe, for example. The lights are always on. The leaders
mm,
understand that let's give our people comfort. We don't want them to complain. Let's
mm,
they all agree to that. Let's let's make sure that white people are not in the same uh, impoverished position as other black people, so that we don't have revolution from our side and from their side. So our people does not unite with their people. Japanese, the Chinese, the Asians, they were also like Africans too, but at some point in time they had to think about, okay, let us do it like that first.
mm.
But we as Africans, the leadership, we've not that that issue, that mindset of get all you can all you get is the problem. We love instant gratification. That is why it looks as if democracy is becoming a problem in Africa, because we want instant, we want it fast, fast. Let me go there and settle my own first. You don't understand that when you build for everybody, what happens is when the country is developed, what happens is the tax net grows bigger. Once the tax net grows bigger, there's enough for you to take. Even if you want to be corrupt, there's actually a need for you to be corrupt. Like now, look at the West now, America. Where is the corruption happening in America? What do you think is happening in their country? Let me ask you. Where do you think America's corruption is happening?
Corruption.
In America, yes. Where do you think what industry is being corrupted the most in America now?
Mm, I honestly don't know.
The military industrial complex. That is where all
Uh,
the corruption in America takes place. The military. America's military, when they audited Pentagon, they sold
mm,
one toilet roll for one, that
mm,
is toilet roll should be around 50 cents. They sold it in
mm,
the budget for $50 when they
mm,
audited US Pentagon for $50.
mm,
Everything is overpriced in America. That's why That is where most of the president go to cash out. We want, okay, we are giving 60 billion to Ukraine. What would they do? They'll funnel the money through their military industrial complex, probably to Boeing or to or to those armed force company. Those one will give them their own share and they will do the money. So they understand that let us work together first. Let, let us be like let us be the beacon of civilization. Let people envy us, but we'll still steal, oh, but let's do it first. But African leaders, they don't have that understanding yet. They don't have it. So, like I said, it's not about democracy or no democracy. It is our attitude, our attitude as a people. I believe that as we travel the world and we get to see how we get to see how other people how things are, I believe that we as generation we are going to change. That short term pain for everybody. If we have everybody doing it like that, you can always reward yourself later. Like I said, this politic industry in Africa is because most of them are failed businessmen. If you are a successful businessman, you don't have any interest in looting government uh, public funds. How many of them have businesses? None. Their own is politics, 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 politics. Nobody has enterprise. So, like I said, why democracy is being thwarted, which is not perfect, is because of the way we choose to see life. That's the problem. Democracy is good. Is it bad? Is good, and that is on bad side. Military, I wouldn't want it. I'm happy for Burkina Faso because the French actually corrupted mostly all francophone speaking countries are actually look at the one in Cameroon. I'll be happy if something of that nature happens in Cameroon because French speaking countries, the French actually does, and most of them they promise, don't worry, we'll give you house in Europe, we'll give you house in France. Why would you leave your comfortable country where you have good weather to the snow in France and Europe to go and enjoy? What is there? Probably in a house built with wood. Probably they give us the house if a US passport. The house in the US is built with wood. It's not built with the cement like the one in Africa. So why would you? I don't understand. So like I said, it's good. I'm so happy for Burkina Faso. Let him continue, but the end goal should be to build strong institutions. I heard that even the parliament are against him. But I just pray, but I like what he's doing. We need strong institutions. Let the average Burkinabe citizen be able to go through life easily so that by the time he's gone, the legacy will continue. So that's just it for me.
All right, Mr. John, I appreciate. I promise you this will be the last question. Thank you so much for joining me, man. And I will definitely come back here because of what is happening in Nigeria to kind of like shed the light and to continue to dive into that topic and bring awareness to our people as well. So thank you for your time. Thank you for setting that aside. I appreciate it, man. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Just come anytime. Let's go in. Probably if you heard something, I always come out and we'll just talk
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
I
Chinedu.
appreciate my brother. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. No before.
Yeah. Ah, all right.
Bebezu. I
Yeah.
appreciate my brother.
You
I
too.
appreciate it.
All right.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys for coming by, stopping by. Appreciate people who came here and asked a lot of questions. Um, I think if I would like to just lay down a little bit, Alexander, question about democracy not working in Africa. I think um, a lot of Africans sympathize with that. John, he mentioned it. Well, he said that democracy itself is not bad. It has pros and cons, and I believe in the context of Africa, disadvantage are more than advantage. To be honest, so far what we have seen, what has been applied, right? And you're thinking about the context of Nigeria, that the next election is going to be on 2027. Right now, the Christians being killed, and the government is denying that from happening. So, are you going to wait for 2 years to vote for another person to take care of the issue that is happening right now? What about the death of the people that are going to be killed in the next 2 years? right? So I believe even though there's a democracy, but there should be an adjustment in our constitution so that we may be able to actually impeach and get somebody out of the government if something is not happening. This is the state of emergency. Nigeria should have a state of emergency right now because of what has been going on for years, but not acknowledging it, not accepting it, not saying that this is happening is actually promoting what is happening in the country. And in this context, does democracy help us? It's not helping us. Why? Because he knows that, okay, whatever I do, I'm going to be here for the next 3 years, so I'm just going to chill out. And a lot of our leaders, what they do nothing. If they're staying for 5 years, they do nothing in the first, second, and third year. The fourth and fifth one, they try to do some things to impress the people in order for them to vote them in again. And does it work? No, because a lot of time in our countries, in our continent, elections have been rigged, right? You vote for someone else, but who you voted for, who you want, those people who are most popular, people they love them, they never become the presidents of our countries. They're never voted in. Why? Because it doesn't really work. If you're just smart enough to rig the election, then you become a president. So it doesn't matter whether you are accepted or not, whether you won or not, it doesn't matter. It does not guarantee you to become the president of the country or the leader of the country or the leader of the place, right? So it's not really democracy itself as itself. It's good. I love the definition by the people, for the people, and to the people. I love it. It's good. It looks good. It sounds good. But in real application, and especially in the context of Africa, it's not really doing anything. If these people in charge, you really honor democracy principle and do that, then I think we might have seen the positive outcome. But in the context of Africa, most of the time you see outcome. Let's say if a leader you know, is dictator, right? He's staying there for a while, right? He just decide to do whatever, like has a vision for the country. I want this to be done. I want that to be done. I want that to be done. You see things moving forward. But if you need to go to the parliament, people vote and whatever, you see things are not really moving forward. Things are delaying all the time because everybody works for their own interest. Everybody looking to satisfy themselves. And so you better have one person who satisfies himself rather than having 1,000 leaders, 100, 200, who everybody wants to grab something out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy because everybody wants something, want that piece. So in Africa, I think it's time for change, right? And Gen Z are showing up the way. And I think it's really time for change. I think people have to stand up, people have to wake up, people have to demand change. This is not the time to ask politely, it's the time to demand that we demand change in our countries. Because where we are right now is not because of us. And another big difference between these countries that we see them, United States, UK, and all those countries and African countries, the big difference is this: we don't really invest in economy. We don't really invest in, industries. But we truly, like, people who have power and control our countries are politicians. These politicians are looking after their belly. But if you go to, is what John basically was saying. They're investing in the institutions. That means the economy run the country. It runs the country. So whether you get rid of the politician or not, the economy will still be there. But in our country, economy is actually connected to the politicians. Politicians are the one who are running economy. So if you want to get rid of them, if they are thieves, then the economy is not happening. If if you are a local just person, you open up your company business, you're gonna get a lot of taxes. Your government is going. I mean, your business is going to be shut down. It's going to be shut down. In other countries, if you have your own business, your little tiny business, you actually get support from the government in order for you, because they know you're taking care of a lot of people, you're employing people, you're actually adding, taxes to the government. You're taking care of that, so they are actually taking good care of you because they know what is happening in the economy. But in Africa, they actually come against you, and politicians have power. They run the countries, and what happens is we are where we are today. And if you want to build an organization, want to build a company, they're going to do everything they can. And you to survive, it's hard, it's difficult to survive in Africa if you have a business. But if you're an investor coming from China, coming from whatever, Or you'll be even having like exemption of tax for 5 years. You come to invest in the country means you have money and you get exemption of the tax. Why? Because he's going to provide, employment to our people, whatever. But why not doing the same thing to the locals who are starting business? Why not doing something to the locals who are opening up the companies? Because they also employ people. Why don't we create a conducive environment for them to prosper in their own country? But we do for others, for foreigners, and not for the locals. And what happens is, we're still the same, right? You have a lot of Africans who are riding border borders, motorbikes. These are university students with degrees. They have nothing. Why? Because it's so hard to run a business, so hard to start a business in Africa. At least the country that have done better in this is Rwanda. Rwanda's really done better in business. You can simply open a company within a day, and they're trying their best. That's why there's so many startups in Rwanda. If you go to Rwanda today, so many startups are there, but not in the continent of Africa. So a lot of people, their dream is not to start a business. Their dream is to be employed by the big companies. You can never change the economy of the country by having majority of youth of your country employed by somebody else. That's not how you create wealth. No, it's not a way of creating a wealth generation. No, 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 no. You gotta start business. You gotta open industries. You gotta run, in order to create that wealth generation. But otherwise, it's not gonna happen. Statistically, Alexandra, every single year you have more than 10 million young Africans graduating, but continent provides only 2 millions job. So 8 million, where do they go? They're out. They have nothing, nowhere to go. It's a disaster. It's a crisis. So it's a time to wake up, and I hope continent to wake up. Guys, those who are joining up, we have a petition called One Africa right now in the description. Go and sign up that petition. It's very important for the cause of One Africa we're fighting for and One Passport we're fighting for. Because all of these things we're talking about, it lies under one thing that called One Africa. If we don't fight for the unity of this continent, I am concerned. Continent is being, broken into small pieces right now by all these big nations, and we are divided based on them. Before we are divided based on politics, based on tribes, based on religion, which is still happening right now on the continent. But now we are going to be divided based on colonialist. This is Chinese region. This is German region. This actually we're going back to the 1884. We're going back there. They're going back there. That if you support Chinese, we don't want to deal with you. If you support Americans, oh, we don't want to come near you. That's where we're going right now. But the only way to bring the continent together is by us looking in the inside and coming together as one Africa, and fighting against all odds that are coming towards us. So sign up the petition of One Africa right now. Read the petition, sign up. We demand one African passport to all Africans, even diaspora across the world. We demand for that. We demand for one army. We demand for this one system that will really, help our continent to be in the place where we want to be. This has been a struggle for over 60 years, but now it is the time. The time is now, and me and you, we can make that happen. Start by signing that petition. And also you can join membership. Sign up the membership. You can join Patreon. We have PayPal link in the description. If you want to support, because the work is still continuous. We still have people working in this. I'm not. You don't see me here up front, but we have people still working on this. We're still developing a lot of stuff, behind the scenes. So hopefully, in due time, all of things will come into public. But we are still working. You might not see me here, but guys, there's a lot of things that are still developing, behind the scenes, right? Don't show the enemies your plan, right? So you gotta take quiet road, and just one day, shoop, you are there, right? So I have actually tried to do that for the past year, and I think it's working pretty good, because I'm not talking as I used to talk before, but I'm still working, right? I'm still working. So I appreciate you guys for stopping by. I'm gonna come here once in a while to do this stream. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. I just wanna pray for Nigeria, pray for my brothers and sisters who are being persecuted in Nigeria, Christian Nigerians. I pray for them. The Lord, may you remember them. And most importantly, we pray for the peace of that nation. We pray for the awakening of that nation, transformation of their mind, transformation of their need as well, to understand that we are all one people created by the image of God. And You don't give life, you don't take life. It's as simple as that. So we pray for that understanding to our people, and we pray for that redemption of those who are being persecuted right now. In precious name, Jesus, I pray. Amen. Guys, I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you. Bye bye.